The story begins in the year 2347, aboard the exploration vessel Celestial Seeker, a state-of-the-art spacecraft designed for deep space archaeological missions. The ship's crew had spent months analyzing ancient Earth texts and star charts, searching for connections between mythological stories and unexplained cosmic phenomena. Their breakthrough came when they discovered a peculiar pattern in Sumerian cuneiform tablets that matched specific astronomical alignments visible only from a remote sector of the Andromeda Galaxy. This discovery led them to a mysterious planet designated as Xylophia 7, shrouded in dense crystalline clouds that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy matching the frequency of ancient temple vibrations recorded on Earth. As the spacecraft approached Xylophia 7, its sensors detected massive structures beneath the planet's surface, their architectural patterns uncannily similar to descriptions found in Norse, Hindu, and Aztec mythology. The most striking feature was a network of colossal geometric formations spanning thousands of kilometers, glowing faintly with bioluminescent patterns that shifted according to complex mathematical sequences. What appeared initially as natural geological formations revealed themselves to be carefully constructed monuments when viewed through enhanced spectral imaging, each structure aligned perfectly with constellations significant in various Earth mythologies. The airlock doors hummed with anticipation as the crew prepared for descent, unaware that their discovery would challenge everything humanity understood about its place in the universe. Adding to the mystery, preliminary scans suggested that the planet's atmosphere contained trace elements not found anywhere else in the known universe. These elements emitted frequencies that resonated with human brainwave patterns, hinting at a possible connection between the planet and the evolution of consciousness. The team speculated that these frequencies might have influenced ancient civilizations, explaining why so many cultures independently developed myths about celestial beings descending from the stars. As the ship's engines powered down for landing, the crew couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, though no life signs registered on their instruments. The landing party consisted of Dr. Elena Vasquez, an expert in comparative mythology, Professor Markuschan, a xenobiologist specializing in ancient life forms, and Commander Sarah Patel, whose expertise in ancient astronaut theory had earned her leadership of this unprecedented mission. As they stepped onto the crimson-hued surface of Xylophia 7, they immediately noticed the atmosphere shimmered with microscopic particles that reacted to their presence, forming intricate patterns reminiscent of Aboriginal Australian Dreamtime paintings. The gravity felt slightly heavier than Earth's, and the air carried a metallic tang that made their environmental suits' filtration systems work overtime. Strange hieroglyphs, combining elements from Egyptian, Mayan, and unknown symbols, covered every exposed surface of the nearest monolithic structure, glowing softly with an internal light source that seemed to respond to their proximity. Venturing deeper into the alien landscape, they encountered what appeared to be enormous statues, each several hundred meters tall, depicting humanoid figures with features that strangely amalgamated characteristics from various mythological pantheons. A figure bore the head of an Egyptian falcon but possessed multiple arms like a Hindu deity, while another combined Norse helmet designs with Aztec feather patterns. These weren't mere artistic representations. Detailed scanning revealed organic components within the stone-like material, suggesting these might have been living beings petrified through some unknown process. The ground beneath their feet vibrated with low-frequency pulses that matched ancient chanting rhythms documented in countless religious ceremonies across different cultures on Earth. As they moved closer to one of the statues, the team noticed that the vibrations intensified, creating a sensation akin to standing near a massive subwoofer. The sound seemed to resonate not just in their ears, but throughout their entire bodies, as if it were communicating directly with their cells. Dr. Vasquez theorized that this could be a form of language, a way for the planet's inhabitants to convey information without traditional speech. Meanwhile, Professor Chun collected samples of the glowing hieroglyphs, discovering that they emitted a faint electromagnetic field that interacted with the particles in the air. The combination of these elements created an environment that felt both alien and eerily familiar, as if humanity had been here before but forgotten. The team set up their mobile research station near the largest structure, which towered above the landscape like an impossible ziggurat-cum-pyramid hybrid. As night fell on Xylophia 7, the entire site transformed dramatically. The bioluminescent patterns intensified, creating moving images across the surfaces that told stories through light and shadow. These visual narratives depicted scenes remarkably similar to creation myths from diverse Earth cultures, but with crucial differences that suggested they were first-hand accounts rather than symbolic interpretations. The researchers watched in awe as light-based creatures emerged from the structures, ethereal beings that defied conventional understanding of biology. They moved in perfect synchronization with the pulsating ground frequencies, their forms shifting between pure energy states and semi-material manifestations that resembled both animal and human characteristics. Analysis of these entities revealed they operated on quantum principles, existing simultaneously in multiple dimensions while maintaining observable presence in three-dimensional space. Their communication method involved manipulating fundamental forces of nature, gravity waves, electromagnetic fields, and even time dilation effects became apparent during their interactions. Most astonishingly, these beings demonstrated knowledge of Earth's history far beyond what could be explained by chance or parallel evolution. Through sophisticated translation algorithms, the team began deciphering messages embedded in the creatures' movements and energy patterns, revealing startling truths about humanity's origins and purpose in the cosmos. Commander Patel noted that the beings seemed particularly interested in the team's technological equipment, especially the quantum processors powering their translation devices. Whenever the team activated these devices, the energy beings would gather closer, their forms becoming more defined and their movements more deliberate. It was as if they were trying to communicate something urgent, though the exact message remained elusive. The team also observed that the beings avoided direct contact with metal objects, suggesting a sensitivity to certain materials. This behavior aligned with ancient accounts of divine beings refusing to touch iron or other metals, further blurring the line between myth and reality. The deeper the team explored, the more they uncovered evidence suggesting these beings had actively influenced human development across millennia. Massive data repositories, encoded in crystalline matrices similar to those found in ancient Earth artifacts, contain detailed records of genetic modifications performed on early hominids. These modifications followed patterns matching mythological descriptions of divine intervention, enhanced cognitive abilities, resistance to environmental changes, and even traits considered supernatural by ancient standards. The beings appeared to view themselves as custodians of consciousness, guiding species towards self-awareness while maintaining careful balance between technological advancement and spiritual growth. Their approach mirrored teachings found in various wisdom traditions, emphasizing harmony between physical existence and metaphysical understanding. Dr. Vasquez discovered that the crystalline matrices contained not only genetic data, but also fragments of what appeared to be cultural blueprints. These blueprints included instructions for building structures, developing agricultural techniques, and even establishing social hierarchies. Interestingly, the blueprints were tailored to fit the unique environmental conditions of different regions on Earth, explaining why ancient civilizations across the globe developed similar technologies despite being geographically isolated. The team hypothesized that these beings had acted as cosmic architects, planting seeds of civilization in fertile regions and allowing humanity to grow organically while subtly guiding its progress. This revelation challenged the notion of independent human innovation, suggesting instead that humanity's achievements were the result of a carefully orchestrated plan. The research team discovered vast underground chambers containing what could only be described as biological archives. Suspended in stasis fields were countless samples of DNA sequences, many of which showed remarkable similarities to terrestrial life forms yet contained distinct markers indicating deliberate engineering. Some specimens appeared to be transitional forms between purely physical organisms and the energy-based beings observed earlier. These findings suggested that the mythological gods of Earth might have been either projections or partial manifestations of these advanced entities, adapting their appearance to match the cultural context of the civilizations they interacted with. The team's instruments detected residual energy signatures matching those found at numerous sacred sites on Earth, from Stonehenge to Machu Picchu, implying these locations served as dimensional interfaces where the beings could temporarily materialize. Professor Chen's analysis of the DNA samples revealed that the beings had experimented with various forms of life, not just humans. He identified sequences corresponding to extinct species, such as dinosaurs and megafauna, as well as creatures that never existed on Earth, like six-legged mammals and bioluminescent amphibians. These experiments suggested that the beings were not merely focused on humanity, but were conducting a broader study of consciousness and evolution across species. The team speculated that Earth might have been a kind of laboratory, a testing ground for different approaches to cultivating intelligent life. This idea raised ethical questions about humanity's role in the cosmos and whether free will was truly as free as it seemed. As the investigation progressed, the team encountered increasingly complex phenomena challenging their scientific understanding. Time itself seemed malleable within certain areas of the site, with researchers experiencing brief moments of temporal displacement where past and present merged seamlessly. During one such episode, they witnessed what appeared to be actual historical events unfolding before them. Ancient humans interacting with translucent figures exhibiting characteristics of both mythological deities and the energy beings they'd previously encountered. These visions provided undeniable evidence that so-called mythical encounters were real events, though perceived and interpreted through the limited understanding of pre-scientific cultures. The experience left the researchers questioning whether their own perceptions were any more reliable than those of ancient witnesses, given the multidimensional nature of reality revealed by their discoveries. Commander Patel documented these temporal anomalies in meticulous detail, noting that they occurred most frequently near the largest structures. She theorized that these areas acted as focal points for dimensional convergence, allowing glimpses into alternate timelines or parallel realities. The team also observed that the anomalies seemed to be triggered by specific emotional states, such as awe or fear, suggesting a psychological component to the phenomenon. This discovery added a new layer of complexity to their mission, as it implied that the beings might be using human emotions as a form of communication or interaction. The line between observer and participant blurred further with each passing day, leaving the team to wonder if they were studying the beings or being studied themselves. The central structure yielded its most profound secrets when the team discovered what appeared to be a neural interface chamber. Unlike anything in human technology, this device allowed direct connection with the collective consciousness of the energy beings. Through careful experimentation, they learned that these entities existed primarily in higher dimensions, using their physical manifestations as tools for interacting with lower-dimensional species. The interface revealed that what humans called gods were actually specialized aspects of a single, vast intelligence network spanning multiple galaxies. Each manifestation represented different functions necessary for guiding civilization development, some focused on technological advancement, others on spiritual evolution, and still others on maintaining ecological balance. This explanation accounted for the apparent contradictions between different mythological systems while providing a unified framework for understanding humanity's relationship with these beings. Dr. Vasquez described the experience of connecting to the neural interface as both exhilarating and humbling. The beings communicated not through words, but through a flood of sensory impressions, emotions, and abstract concepts that transcended language. She likened it to entering a cosmic library where every book contained infinite knowledge, yet the act of reading altered the reader's perception of reality itself. The team realized that ancient myths about divine councils or pantheons might have been literal descriptions of this multidimensional network, with each god representing a specific aspect of universal consciousness. This revelation forced them to reconsider the nature of divinity, suggesting it was less about worship and more about recognizing humanity's place within a greater cosmic whole. Further exploration uncovered evidence of catastrophic events that had forced these beings to limit their direct involvement with developing civilizations. Massive scars across the landscape testified to conflicts between different factions within the energy being society, each advocating different approaches to species development. Some believed in accelerated advancement regardless of consequences, while others argued for natural evolution without interference. These divisions had led to devastating wars that nearly destroyed the entire infrastructure of Xylophia 7. The survivors had implemented strict protocols governing their interactions with emerging species, explaining why direct contact with divine beings became increasingly rare in human history after the Bronze Age. The ruins of ancient laboratories showed experiments gone wrong, with failed attempts at species enhancement resulting in monstrous hybrids that threatened both creators and created. Professor Chin analyzed the remnants of these hybrid creatures, finding traces of genetic material that defied conventional biology. Some specimens exhibited traits from multiple species, such as wings combined with aquatic adaptations, while others displayed characteristics that seemed incompatible with life altogether, like crystalline organs or gravity-defying structures. These failures highlighted the risks of tampering with evolution, serving as cautionary tales for humanity's own experiments with genetic engineering. The team speculated that the being's decision to withdraw from active intervention was motivated not by indifference, but by a desire to prevent further disasters. This restraint, however, came at a cost. Many civilizations, including Earth's, were left to navigate their challenges alone, often misinterpreting the being's earlier guidance as divine abandonment. The team's most startling discovery came when they accessed the being's historical database, documenting their interactions with Earth. Far from being random interventions, these contacts followed precise mathematical patterns correlating with major evolutionary leaps in human development. Each intervention triggered specific genetic switches that expanded human potential while leaving room for free will and independent progress. The database included detailed observations of how different cultures interpreted these encounters, showing how practical guidance on agriculture, architecture, and social organization transformed into elaborate theological systems over generations. Most remarkably, the records indicated that humanity was approaching a critical threshold in its development cycle, one that required careful preparation and guidance to navigate successfully. Commander Patel noted that the beings viewed humanity's current era as a pivotal moment, akin to adolescence in an individual's life. Just as teenagers must learn to balance independence with responsibility, humanity faced the challenge of harnessing its newfound technological power without succumbing to self-destruction. The database suggested that the beings had been subtly influencing global events in recent centuries, nudging humanity towards solutions for crises like climate change and nuclear proliferation. However, this influence was carefully calibrated to avoid overt manipulation, ensuring that humanity retained agency over its destiny. The team realized that many of the world's greatest scientific breakthroughs and cultural shifts might have been quietly guided by these beings, operating behind the scenes to steer humanity toward maturity. Through continued interaction with the energy beings, the researchers learned about the concept of dimensional maturity, the point at which a species becomes capable of perceiving and operating across multiple dimensions simultaneously. This state represented the true purpose behind the being's long-term investment in human evolution. The current era marked humanity's transition into this phase, explaining the increased frequency of UFO sightings, psychic phenomena, and other paranormal experiences reported worldwide. These weren't signs of external invasion, but rather indications of humanity's own consciousness expanding to encompass realities previously accessible only to the energy beings. The team realized that ancient prophecies about ascension or enlightenment referred to this very process, misinterpreted through cultural lenses but fundamentally accurate in their core message. Dr. Vasquez observed that many modern spiritual movements, from New Age philosophies to indigenous wisdom traditions, shared common themes with the being's teachings. Concepts like interconnectedness, non-duality, and the illusion of separation resonated deeply with the insights gained from the neural interface. The team hypothesized that humanity's growing awareness of these ideas wasn't coincidental but part of a deliberate effort by the beings to prepare people for dimensional expansion. This preparation involved not just intellectual understanding but also emotional and spiritual growth, as individuals learned to embrace perspectives beyond their immediate sensory experience. The researchers themselves began experiencing subtle changes in perception, noticing synchronicities and intuitive flashes that seemed to defy rational explanation. The implications of these discoveries extended far beyond mere academic interest. The energy beings revealed that humanity's current technological trajectory risked triggering a global catastrophe similar to those that had devastated Xylophia 7 in its past. Without proper guidance, the combination of artificial intelligence development, genetic engineering, and climate change could lead to irreversible damage to Earth's biosphere. However, the beings also emphasized that humanity possessed unique qualities not found in other species they'd guided, particularly the ability to synthesize diverse perspectives into holistic understanding. This trait, though often buried under layers of cultural conditioning and individual ego, represented humanity's greatest strength and its key to successful dimensional transition. Professor Chen expressed concern about humanity's tendency to prioritize short-term gains over long-term sustainability, noting that this behavior mirrored the mistakes made by earlier civilizations on Xylophia. 7. He warned that unless humanity addressed issues like inequality, resource depletion, and environmental degradation, it risked repeating the same destructive cycles. At the same time, he acknowledged that humanity's capacity for creativity and innovation offered hope for overcoming these challenges. The beings encouraged the team to focus on fostering unity and cooperation among nations, emphasizing that no single group could achieve dimensional maturity alone. They stressed the importance of viewing Earth as a single organism, with all life forms contributing to its overall health and evolution. As the mission entered its final phase, the team documented extensive evidence connecting various Earth mythologies to specific events on Xylophia. 7. They found direct correlations between the being's activities and major turning points in human history, from the rise of agriculture to the development of writing systems and philosophical thought. Each intervention had been carefully calculated to maximize beneficial outcomes while minimizing dependency on external guidance. The researchers recognized patterns in how different cultures had adapted these experiences to fit their unique worldviews, creating rich tapestries of meaning that, while varying in details, shared fundamental truths about existence and consciousness. This realization bridged gaps between scientific understanding and spiritual insight, offering new perspectives on age-old questions about human nature and destiny. Commander Patel reflected on how these findings challenged traditional notions of history and religion. Rather than dismissing myths as primitive superstitions, she now saw them as encoded messages designed to convey timeless wisdom. The team identified recurring motifs across cultures, such as the hero's journey, the tree of life, and the cyclical nature of time, which aligned perfectly with the being's teachings. These motifs served as reminders of humanity's connection to something greater than itself, whether framed as gods, spirits, or universal principles. By decoding these symbols, the researchers hoped to help humanity rediscover its cosmic heritage and embrace its role as co-creators of reality. The energy beings presented the team with a crucial choice: whether to share their discoveries openly with humanity or maintain secrecy until Earth's civilization reached greater stability. This dilemma echoed ancient myths about forbidden knowledge and the responsibilities that came with enlightenment. The researchers understood that premature revelation of humanity's true origins and potential could trigger widespread social upheaval, yet withholding this information risked repeating historical patterns of manipulation and control. Through deep meditation and consultation with the beings, they developed a phased approach to disseminating knowledge, using mythological frameworks already familiar to different cultures as vehicles for introducing more advanced concepts gradually. This strategy honored both the need for truth and the importance of cultural context in processing paradigm-shifting information. Dr. Vasquez proposed creating a series of educational initiatives that would blend scientific research with storytelling, allowing people to explore these revelations at their own pace. She envisioned multimedia platforms combining virtual reality experiences, interactive documentaries, and collaborative projects that invited participants to engage with the material actively. Professor Chen suggested partnering with artists, writers, and spiritual leaders to ensure the message resonated across diverse communities. Commander Patel emphasized the importance of transparency, arguing that humanity deserved to know the truth even if it took time to fully comprehend. Together, they crafted a plan that balanced disclosure with discretion, aiming to empower humanity without overwhelming it. During their final days on Xylophia 7, the team witnessed a spectacular demonstration of the being's capabilities, the temporary restoration of damaged sections of the planet's infrastructure through pure conscious intention. This display revealed that matter itself was more malleable than previously understood, responding to focused awareness and emotional resonance. The researchers grasped that ancient practices like prayer, meditation, and ritual magic weren't primitive superstitions but sophisticated technologies for interacting with reality's deeper layers. This understanding connected directly to modern physics recognition of observer effects and quantum entanglement, suggesting that humanity's next evolutionary leap would involve mastering these principles consciously rather than unconsciously as in the past. The team conducted experiments to test their newfound insights, attempting to influence small-scale phenomena through collective focus and visualization. While their results were modest compared to the being's feats, they succeeded in altering the behavior of certain particles and even inducing minor shifts in local gravity fields. These successes reinforced the idea that humanity's potential was limited only by its belief in what was possible. Dr. Vasquez marveled at how ancient mystics had intuited these truths long before science could explain them, using metaphors and allegories to convey concepts that modern technology was only beginning to validate. The experience left the team profoundly optimistic about humanity's future, convinced that the tools for transformation lay within reach if only people dared to use them. The mission concluded with the team returning to Earth, carrying not just physical evidence but profound personal transformations. Their experiences on Xylophia 7 had fundamentally altered their perception of reality, demonstrating that science and spirituality weren't opposing forces but complementary approaches to understanding existence. The Energy Being's parting gift was a global awakening protocol, a series of subtle influences designed to help humanity recognize its true potential without overwhelming existing social structures. As the Celestial Seeker re-entered Earth's orbit, its crew understood they'd become custodians of knowledge that could reshape civilization. Their journey proved that ancient myths weren't mere stories but encoded memories of real encounters with advanced beings who'd shaped human destiny across millennia. Subscribe now to continue exploring the boundaries between science and mythology. Commander Patel summarized their mission as a bridge between worlds, not just between Earth and Xylophia 7, but between past and future, science and spirit, ignorance and enlightenment. She urged humanity to approach this knowledge with humility and courage, recognizing that the path forward required both curiosity and caution. The team knew their work was far from over. They had merely scratched the surface of a vast cosmic mystery. Yet they felt hopeful, knowing that humanity stood on the brink of a new era, one where the boundaries of possibility were defined not by limitation but by imagination. Subscribe to stay updated on humanity's journey toward cosmic maturity.